I get what you're saying, but what's the point? All right. So I've got a short answer and I've got a long answer. The short answer is that, number one, I cannot go over the point in just one video, especially in about 10 minutes. That's basically the point of this channel. This whole channel is the long answer. And that's the video for today. No, actually, I'll give a little bit of a longer answer throughout the video. But that really is the main point of the channel. You're going to take what you need from this channel and you're going to discard the rest. It's exactly what you're supposed to do with it. Anything that helps you, that gets you far, take it. The rest, just leave it. Save it for later. You might come back to it. You might see it from a different point. And then it makes sense. Because you see, the point is a certain perspective. Because wherever the point is, it's going to be surrounded by something else. And when you look at a point in a certain way, that point's going to look different than if you were to move it, as to move your perspective. And the one key thing that we're looking for in life really is fulfillment. Because we could have all the money in the world and it's still not going to fulfill us. Unless, we do certain things, like I talk about in this channel, that will help you find your sort of way of fulfilling yourself. Because if you've ever made minimum wage, you always wanted to make, 25 cents more, 50 cents more, $1 more, $2 more. And then once you got that, it was great and all for like a month. And then next thing you know, you aren't happy with it. It's not meeting all your needs. But before, you were like, well, this is gonna help me here, this is gonna help me here, and then it does nothing for us. The same is, if I were to hand you $1 million, you think you'd be happy. You'd be happy for a little bit, maybe more than a month, but you wouldn't be fulfilled inside. And eventually the fun from all that would drain out. And this is why you see people who win the lottery will go bankrupt within a year to a few years. They don't know what to do with the money. They're not fulfilled. They just waste it all. So the key to it all, with being rich as well, is that you want to be fulfilled. And to be fulfilled, you have to see things from different points, and you have to look at different aspects of your life and your emotions in a different way than you have been if you're not really, getting it. Or if you don't feel fulfilled, there's something missing there. Now, in this channel, I'm going to try to go over everything possible that I've learned that has helped me fulfill myself, as well as other people that I know fulfill themselves. So, with all these cheesy little videos that I have so far, like being grateful, especially being grateful, that is a very important one, because if you're not grateful, you're not going to see more things come into your life. The moment you start living like week after week with the feeling of gratuity every single day, because it takes practice, you can't just do it for one day, you'll actually see things fall straight into your lap. It's crazy. And a lot of people say, you can't just have things fall into your lap. I've had opportunity literally knock at the door. So again, what is the point? The point of all these videos is to give you a different point, a different way to look at something, because each video is designed to somehow apply to some type of situation that's going on right now, or some type of circumstance. And I've talked a little bit about circumstance. I need to make a video straight for it, because people let circumstances rule them. They wrap their lives around them and make it their life. And then that's why they don't grow. Like I talked about in the last video, you need to have progression. You need to grow to be fulfilled. It's one of the biggest keys to it. So for part of the long answer, I'm not going to be able to tell you the point. You're going to have to find that yourself, because that's your own perspective. If you already get it, and you're like, well, what's the point? You might already be using the knowledge I'm giving you. You might already be successful from it. Or you might not see it the right way. It's like, oh yeah, I get it, but, it's like the joke that you get, but it's not funny. And then later on down the road, you think of the joke again, and it's the funniest thing you ever heard. Because our perspective changes. You read things differently. You see things differently all the time. Think about 6 months ago to a year ago when you were completely different than now. And then think about 3 years ago and how different you were. Think about how you thought back then, how you talked to people, what you thought about, your thought process, everything, especially with the mind. I go a lot over the mind in this channel. It is a key aspect to it because your mind is going to get you to where you want to be. That's why a lot of unsuccessful people always curse themselves, basically. I used to work with people in kitchens that said, oh, I'm going to be here forever. And guess what? They're still there, and they'll probably be there forever because they don't want to do anything. You'll ask anybody. I used to ask people all the time, like, do you have any goals? And they're like, no, I just go home and drink and watch Netflix. I'm like, oh, cool. Because, if you're happy with that, then, you're successful. If you're fine with living a life where you stay in stagnation and don't grow at all, you're actually pretty successful if you really do enjoy it and that's what you want, because it's exactly what you're getting. You'll get what you want, always. And people don't realize this when bad things happen. The circumstances that they wrap their lives around, they bring about themselves, and then don't ever do anything to change the circumstance in the first place. Because, like I said in the last video, where the man or woman who has goals will usually succeed in life compared to those who don't. Because it's a two-side street. Because the guy who says that he can, usually 99.999% of the time, always finds a way. And the man who says he can't, believes it, never tries, and then can't, because he doesn't do it. And if you can seriously just stop saying, I can't, like I've told you in previous videos, to never say, I'm broke. Even when you have no money, and let's say you're with somebody and they want to do something, don't say, no, I can't right now, I'm broke, I have no money. That just keeps getting planted into your subconscious. Remember that the subconscious rules over habits. Saying that you're broke is a bad habit to have whenever you are broke. A better thing to say would be, I can't right now, make up a reason. And if you can't and you want to get the point across that you don't have any money, if that's the end goal, is to get the point across to somebody else or to yourself, try saying, my bank account won't allow it at the moment. Or I'm going to wait, something like that. Because if you keep telling yourself you're broke, your subconscious takes that into habit and then brings that about you, and you will constantly be broke. Because there's tons of people that that have money, all kinds of money, probably more money than you do. I've known people that have more money than I do, and they're constantly broke somehow. They're always telling themselves they're broke because even though they have all this money and all these things, it runs out immediately, and then they have more money coming back. And they have such a big flow of money, if they wrote it down all on paper, they'd realize they make 10 times more than they actually thought. And so they live a broke lifestyle in their head. They take that perspective, that point, and then they aren't fulfilled. And that's the key goal in life, really. It's not the goal, but fulfillment is a big part, and especially in finding your purpose, because your purpose is going to fulfill you. Because when you're doing what you love doing, it's not work. And to know if you're doing the thing that you love doing, think about, if you wouldn't get paid for 3 years, would you still do that job or do whatever you're doing? And if the answer is no, you need to immediately quit, immediately do something else, and start working towards what you want to do in this life, how you want to portray yourself to other people, how you want people to see you. You want to live your dream. I said in one of my Facebook and Twitter posts today, was talking about contributing beyond yourself. Contributing beyond yourself can make you feel really good. It's like giving to the poor whenever you're in abundance. And we're going to go over abundance probably a little bit later. But when you give, have you ever given purely out of your heart, not to get back, not anything, and it just feels good? Well, that good feeling actually attracts good things to you. And if you ever notice, the day kind of gets a whole lot better. You take that perspective on things, you get that feeling. And remember that big key word, feeling. Feeling is a language in of itself and can attract everything and anything that you want. Like I said earlier, I've literally had opportunity knock at the door after feeling for it and acting as if it's already happened. And that plays part in the law of attraction, which I don't really like the law of attraction. There's so many videos and concepts over it. There's actually a YouTube channel. I'm not going to name the name here. I don't want to cause any arguments or anything. I've got nothing against the guy, but he literally posts a video every day on the law of attraction over and over and over and over, and it somehow got some type of different perspective in it every time. And it always says in the thumbnail, like, this changes everything. And, if it would have changed everything before, it's like, why are you making another video on it? And so I don't really like the law of attraction, but it does help. But if you rely your entire belief system or the way of getting things with the law of attraction, you won't get as far as you think. But it is a key ingredient to getting the things that you want. But there's other things that we need to do, because while you can attract opportunity that you want, if you don't take upon the opportunity, you don't have it. If someone calls you up and, they want you to help them move. Have you ever helped someone move and then you found something cool and they gave it to you? Or you get called in for something at work and then on the way in you find money, or something happens and you're like, this paid off. It's like, wow, if I hadn't have done this wouldn't have happened, because the space between point A and point B is going to have some downfalls. And you have to roll with the punches, because if you keep griping and complaining, you won't progress and move to step B, because it's not going to be a joyride the entire way from point A to point B. That's just never going to happen. Life is set up to have challenges. And so what the point is the perspective on the game. It's like chess. Someone can teach you how each little piece moves, but it's up to you to make the strategy and act against the other player that's playing against you to, checkmate. And so you can't really write a cheat sheet, so to say, because you don't know what the opponent's going to do. You don't know what life's going to throw at you, but you have to strategize. And so all these points are to get you to kind of strategize in a way to win the game of life, technically. And so while I can teach you certain rules and how certain things move and how some things sort of work, you can start to form a point around that. And if you become very successful for it, then great. It's exactly what I wanted to happen. That's the whole point of this YouTube channel. And so the point is almost sort of like a belief. We each have our own individual beliefs that are unique. Most of us do. And while I don't want to change your beliefs, I don't care to anyways, because those are your beliefs, not mine. But we all have our own point. I cannot explain your point to you. You will find your point with the things that I say or somebody else says. You'll find the truth in it and then discard the rest. This is why when two people are going at it, or someone tries to get an idea upon someone that is their own, and the other person's just not getting it, or it doesn't make sense, and they're like, oh, well, I'm trying to prove my point, or I'm trying to just prove a point. The point is the perspective. You're wanting to get the perspective across. You want them to see it the same way you do. I don't want you to see the things the same way that I do. I want you to take what I've said and conform it to where it works for you and makes you successful. So that's really the big point. It's why you'll have a bunch of these little cheesy videos, like I said. We'll get to some deeper stuff later, but the whole point is to figure out the point. Only you can answer that. I can't for you. I can only give you my points and what I've learned and what's worked for me, because what works for one person won't work for the other person. One man's trash is another man's treasure. This video is getting kind of long. I'm going to get off of it, and I'll see you guys. And actually, wait. I mentioned my Twitter earlier in this video. I made a Twitter. I'm going to post the link in the description. Be sure to check that out. I'm also starting to get more likes on my normal Facebook page, so be sure to check that out too if you haven't. Subscribe if you like my stuff. Let me know I'm getting someone out there, and I will for you to all prosper and have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.